screen or go to soldierfuel.com/challenge to enter. Drink with the RAV hosts drink, Soldier Fuel.
Let's go!
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
Welcome back to this Real America's Voice news break. I'm Terrence Bates. Christians around the world are getting ready to celebrate Easter this weekend. For those looking to bring more faith-based Christian content to their homes, well, Angel Studios has you covered.
This weekend is the most important weekend for all Christians as we celebrate our risen Lord this Easter. And if you're looking for powerful Christian movies and series, Angel Studios is the place to go. Angel has an incredible library of faith-filled content that will inspire you and your family as you celebrate the resurrection of God's only Son. Some of the titles that Angel has brought you in recent years are Cabrini, The King of Kings, The Sound of Hope, David, and Testament. All of these titles are part of Angel's online library, which you can have full access to by becoming an Angel Guild member. And right now, Angel is running an Easter special. So for just $8.99 a month for an entire year, you can watch all of these titles. When you sign up for the Guild, you'll get 2 free tickets to any Angel theatrical release of your choice, including Animal Farm and Young Washington that are coming soon. So don't miss this offer. Sign up by this Easter Sunday to lock in this great opportunity by visiting the QR code on your screen or going to angel.com/RAV.
That was RAV correspondent Bo Davidson, who now joins us live to talk more about what Angel Studios has going on. Bo, always good to see you. Hey, look, some exciting times and exciting stuff coming from Angel Studios.
Man, it's great stuff, Terrence. As I mentioned in the promo, there's just an extensive library of great material that you and your family can go see. And the thing about it, this deal that I think is so great, it's $8.99 for an entire year. And I think that's down from maybe $12 a month. So you're getting a great deal there because you're getting access to everything as you would with an Amazon Prime or Netflix subscription. But it's all good material, things that you and your family can watch. The second component, Terrence, is that you get 2 free tickets to any theatrical release. And man, I don't know when the last time you went to the movie theaters was. It was a while ago for me. It's expensive. I mean, if you want 2 people to go to the theater and you got the tickets, you got the popcorn, you got the Cokes, you could be running $50 to $70 just for one night at the movie theater. So consider the fact that you get access to all this great material anytime you want to watch it for an entire year, plus 2 free tickets to go see a theatrical release of your choice, of which, just to mention, as we talked about on the morning show this morning, Young Washington, which is about a very young George Washington before we knew him as George Washington. That's going to be coming up around July 4th for our nation's 250th. So, Terrence, just some really, really great material that Angel is offering, continuing to produce content that amplifies light.
And what I really love about Angel Studios and the work that comes out of those studios is that you don't have to wonder, okay, can I take my kids to this? Is this going to be appropriate? It quite literally is something that the entire family can enjoy, and you don't have to worry about the content.
That's exactly right. And if you look at some of the things that they have, and I mentioned them in the promo there, but Cabrini, which is, of course, about the nun Cabrini that established 67 institutions for poor immigrants. The animated musical David, which grossed $50 million. Now, you take that and consider that also that Sound of Freedom made $184 million at the box office. This is no longer some ancillary fringe studio that's kind of making a dent. This is a serious studio that is making extreme impact with families all across America. And I'll be honest, Terrence, I mean, Hollywood got it wrong for many, many decades. They just thought, we'll continue pushing woke material, we'll push sexual material down people's throats. It's going to affect people, but maybe we can get them to change them in their mentality. No, Angel Studios says, no, we're going to offer a difference. We're going to offer a competitor to that. And that's why you get all this great material. I thought Sound of Freedom was excellent. The Chosen, of course, they're known for. The King of Kings, Testament, Miracle, His Only Son, A Week Away. These are some of the titles that you'll see online, paying only $8.99 a month for that. But the kicker is you got to sign up by this Easter Sunday. So for those who celebrate Easter, myself included, I know that you do as well, Terrence, we want to make sure that people understand that you need to sign up by Easter Sunday to lock in these savings for the next year.
Absolutely. And what I love to hear is that there's this sort of really good content out there, but more importantly, there's an appetite for this sort of content. Yeah, I use the word appetite as the fat guy on the show.
Well, you know what? For all the Easter bunnies and Easter eggs and all the chocolate we may consume, I think it's important, Terrence, to center this back on our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That's what Holy Week is about. That is what Easter is about. It's the resurrection of our Lord. And all this content that's coming from Angel is designed to center us, I think.
Absolutely. Bo Davidson, always good to talk to you, my friend. Once again, that Easter deal, $8.99 membership for 12 months. The Angel plus Rav partnership is still doing really well. And obviously, this is great content for you and your family. So go ahead, get that $8.99 deal and partake and participate in all that Angel Studios has to offer. That's going to do it for us here on Real America's Voice. We appreciate you being here with us.
When it's breaking,
we're moving.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
News doesn't sleep. At Real America's Voice, we don't get to crash or lose focus. That's why we drink Soldier Fuel to stay ahead of the chaos, because we do this for you.
So good.
Soldier Fuel has no sugar, so no crash.
now that's a game changer.
Here we go, all of us.
Wow, that's good.
I'm fueled up now.
Used by the U.S. military every day. Now available to you.
This is huge.
Built by Patriots for Patriots.
Now it's time for you to do the Soldier Fuel Challenge. Order Soldier Fuel, film yourself cracking one open, and taking the Soldier Fuel Challenge. Upload your video at soldierfuel.com/challenge, and you'll be entered to win a free shipment of Soldier Fuel.
That's what I'm talking about.
Your video could also be featured on air. Just scan the QR code on your screen or go to soldierfuel.com/challenge to enter. Drink with the Rav hosts drink, Soldier Fuel.
Let's go.
To the factories, from small towns to city streets. This is the fight for the soul of our nation.
We're watching Democrats attack democracy. Do not be fooled.
The strength, the grit, the greatness of the American spirit, all right here.
The left wanted power, not peace, but there's a resistance rising. A generation saying enough, enough. We've tried it their way, and it failed.
The Steve Gruber Show with your host, Steve Gruber, starts right now.
All right, and welcome to it as we launch into another brand new day here on the Steve Gruber Show, kicking off the broadcast day for Real America's Voice, MTN, and all the streaming services, too. Glad to have you here, fighting for you from the foxhole of freedom. Three big things this hour. Number one, we'll have an update on Jaden Ivey, fired by the Chicago Bulls for saying he doesn't support Pride Month because he's a Christian. Is that right? Number two, some old school Democrats are sounding the alarm that today's far left fringe Democrats are not in step with ordinary Americans, and it's costing them dearly. And number three, President Trump stepped out with a prime time address last night. We're going to get to that in detail coming up. But first, something else that happened yesterday. The Supreme Court heard arguments Wednesday on one of the most important cases for our nation's future, birthright citizenship. President Trump and his team are taking on this issue when no one else would touch it because they know just how important it is. They're arguing that the 14th Amendment and its birthright citizenship clause does not extend to babies born to illegal aliens and temporary visitors and birth tourist companies. Today in 2026, this argument is causing a lot of pearl clutching and name calling over the left, but historically, this has always been common sense. We're going to lay it out for you this morning with the help of arguments made inside the court. The 14th Amendment's citizenship clause had one purpose: to overturn SCOTUS's infamous Dred Scott decision after the Civil War, which held that African Americans could never become U.S. citizens solely because of their race. It has two very important phrases. The clause grants citizenship to children who are born in the U.S. while subject to its jurisdiction. That's the first phrase. So what does it mean? It means people who are not U.S. citizens are people who are here legally, not illegal aliens or temporary aliens. This was argued in depth yesterday. Solicitor General John Sauer is the legal mastermind arguing on behalf of the Trump administration, and he points to history to make his point about what subject to jurisdiction really means. Listen to the argument.
If you look at the debates in the congressional record and discussion surrounding the adoption of the citizenship clause, what you see is a very clear understanding that the newly freed slaves and their children have a relationship of domicile. They do not have a relationship to any foreign power. For example, there's a comment where he says, look, people have been here for 5 generations and clearly have no relationships to any foreign African potentate, or have a relationship of allegiance to the United States. And that reinforces our point that allegiance is what the word jurisdiction means. It doesn't mean regulatory jurisdiction or sort of being merely subject to the laws. They're talking and they're thinking about it in those debates about allegiance.
Yeah, allegiance. It's vital for our nation's future that the people born here have some kind of semblance of allegiance to our country. And Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson makes the asinine argument that allegiance simply means being inside a country's borders. Listen to this example as she makes for allegiance.
I was thinking about this, and I think there are various sources that say this, that you obviously have permanent allegiance based on being born in whatever country you're from. That's what everybody recognizes. But you also have local allegiance when you are on the soil of this other sovereign. And I was thinking, I, a U.S. citizen, am visiting Japan. And what it means is that, if I steal someone's wallet in Japan, the Japanese authorities can arrest me and prosecute me. It's allegiance, meaning can they control you as a matter of law. I can also rely on them if my wallet is stolen to, under Japanese law, go and prosecute the person who has stolen it. So there's this relationship based on, even though I'm a temporary traveler, I'm just on vacation in Japan, I'm still locally owing allegiance in that.
No, you're not. I guess she supports ICE then rounding up illegals who have broken the law in America and sending them back to where they came from. Still mind-blowing to me that this woman was granted a seat on the Supreme Court. You can't possibly believe that that is a healthy definition of allegiance. Justice Alito makes a better point. How can someone pledge allegiance to the United States if they owe another country military service because their parents are nationals of a country like Iran or Russia or China? Here's what he said.
If I'm correct, it's true to a child who's born here to Russian parents. It's true to a child who's born here to Mexican parents. They're automatically citizens or nationals of those countries and have a duty of military service. It sure seems like that makes them subject to a foreign power.
Of course it does. This is a matter of national security. There's another phrase that's important to our interpretation of the 14th Amendment, and that's the fact that the clause grants citizenship, quote, to the state wherein the child's parents reside. So it assumes that the parents already reside in a state. And since neither temporary nor illegal aliens legally reside anywhere, the clause cannot apply to them. Illegal immigration was not a problem even being considered when the 14th Amendment was passed, and we cannot possibly believe that the framers of the amendment intended to allow illegal immigration to explode like it has here in the 21st century. There's plenty more documentation of these views from the 19th century. Attorney General George Williams was a senator when Congress debated and passed the 14th Amendment. He held the same view that Donald Trump is trying to codify now. Secretaries of State in the 19th century also agreed with President Trump's executive order and denied birthright citizenship to children born in the U.S. to temporarily present aliens. And the Treasury back then also concluded that a child born to a woman who had not been lawfully admitted to the U.S. was not a citizen by birth. There are 2 cases also being considered this week for the precedent they sent in establishing birthright citizenship. The first is from 1884, Elk versus Wilkins. And it determined that tribal Indians were not completely subject to U.S. political jurisdiction because they owed tribal allegiance. So again, allegiance is definitely a question here. Native Americans were granted full citizenship in 1924 through a separate act of Congress because it was established that the 14th Amendment did not apply, so they had to pass another law. The second case of Wong Kim Ark back in 1898. And then the Supreme Court held that the clause covers the U.S.-born children of domiciled immigrants regardless of race, which is exactly what the Trump administration is also arguing. Domiciled meaning legal residence. It's not difficult. It's pretty common sense. But I'm afraid that we're going to run into a scenario here where these justices, all of whom are obviously fairly intelligent, at least all but one, are going to case and care far more about abstract concepts and theoretical principles than the reality in front of them. The reality is this: we are not going to survive as a nation if we continue to allow this insanity to continue. But it seems to me some of these justices will be too afraid to stand up to it. And that's why I said yesterday, I concerned myself with Amy Coney Barrett, with Chief Justice John Roberts, and some of the others. I don't think this is going to end well for us. I don't. And it's a terribly disappointing outcome. We'll continue this conversation and what it means for the future of America in just a moment. Nice to see you on a Thursday. This is the Steve Gruber Show.
When it's breaking,
We're moving.
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
News doesn't sleep. At Real America's Voice, we don't get to crash or lose focus. That's why we drink Soldier Fuel to stay ahead of the chaos, because we do this for you.
So good.
Soldier Fuel has no sugar, so no crash.
now that's a game changer.
Here we go, all of us.
Wow, that's good.
I'm fueled up now.
Used by the U.S. military every day. Now available to you.
This is huge.
Built by Patriots for Patriots.
Now it's time for you to do the Soldier Fuel Challenge. Order Soldier Fuel, film yourself cracking one open, and taking the Soldier Fuel Challenge. Upload your video at soldierfuel.com/challenge, and you'll be entered to win a free shipment of Soldier Fuel.
That's what I'm talking about.
Your video could also be featured on air. Just scan the QR code on your screen or go to soldierfuel.com/challenge to enter. Drink with the RAV hosts drink, Soldier Fuel.
Let's go.
At Real America's Voice, we know that you want to be a part of something bigger. That's why we've teamed up with AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, to build a real community of folks who care about faith and our country's future.
There is no force on earth that can stop us from saving our country.
Want to be a part of this movement? It's easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now. That's right. Grab your phone and scan the QR code to join the AMAC and Real America's Voice family today. By scanning the QR code, you'll unlock exclusive content, connect with like-minded Americans, and be first in line for events that celebrate our shared values. So don't wait. Scan the QR code. Join us today and become part of a community that stands for faith, family, and freedom.
Real rights, they come from God.
With AMAC and Real America's Voice. Go ahead. Scan the QR code now.
I'm Andy M., and I love Real America's Voice, where my voice counts and your voice counts. That is America's Voice.
Hey guys, my name is Jeff. I'm from Massachusetts. I love RAV because of the free speech and the political wranglings that go on in the chat every day.
Flashosaurus in the chat. I love Real America's Voice because I can watch news being delivered to me live while I chat with the family I love.
Like I said, I'm seeing some of these justices, they're going to be too afraid to deliver the right ruling. And I come back to Chief Justice John Roberts, showing his skepticism for Trump's case and is denying considering the real-world implications of his decision. Listen to his exchange with the Solicitor General.
Based on Chinese media reports, there are 500 birth tourism companies in the People's Republic of China whose business is to bring people here to give birth and return to that nation.
Having said all that, you do agree that that has no impact on the legal analysis before us?
I think it's, I'd quote what Justice Scalia said in his Hamdan dissent, where their interpretation has these implications that could not possibly have been approved by the 19th century framers of this amendment. I think that shows that they've made a mess. Their interpretation has made a mess of the provision.
Well, it certainly wasn't a problem in the 19th century.
No, but of course, we're in a new world now, as Justice Alito pointed out, where 8 billion people are one plane ride away from having a child who's a U.S. citizen.
Well, it's a new world. It's the same Constitution.
It is, and as Justice Scalia said, I think in the case that Justice Alito was referring to, you've got a constitutional provision that addresses certain evils, and it should be extended to reasonably comparable evils. He said,
evil. And that's it. That's what's at stake here. Evil. Sarah pointed out the 500 birth tourism companies that China has established. And here's another egregious example. There's a Chinese billionaire, Zhu Bo, who owns a video game company in China and has fathered more than 100 children through surrogates in the United States, all in an attempt to reach his goal of 50 high-quality sons to one day take over his business, but in the United States, not in China. This is evil. A complete undermining of the family structure that God created, and a perversion that the founding fathers could never have imagined in their darkest nightmares. We need to put a stop to it. But we've got Justice Amy Coney Barrett worried about how messy it might be to get this wrong. Yeah, she's worried about the mess. Look around. Here she is.
Okay, and let's talk about its applications. So, there are some, I can imagine it being messy on some applications. So what would you do with what the common law called foundlings? The thing about this is then you have to adjudicate. If you're looking at parents, and if you're looking at parents' domicile, then you have to adjudicate both residence and intent to stay. What if you don't know who the parents are?
I think there are marginal cases. That one, I think, has the benefit of being addressed in 1401F, where it talks about...
Yeah.
It's not her job to worry about how messy undoing the current disaster is. It's her job to uphold the Constitution and protect the future of this nation and the ideals it was founded on, period. Hard stop. President Trump has pointed out just how frustrating instances like these are from supposedly conservative justices. This is what he had to say about it earlier this week.
Mothers. And you say what you want. But you have the ones that were appointed by Barack Hussein Obama and Biden. I don't care how good your case is. You can have the greatest case ever. They're going to rule against you. They always do. And it's not supposed to be that way. Now, the Republicans tend to be very different. They want to show how honorable they are. So a man can appoint them, and they can rule against him. It's so proud of it. We're so proud we ruled against Trump. We're so proud. We're above it. There are those that say that's wonderful, and there are those that say they're so stupid. But the Democrats never fail at one thing. When Barack Hussein Obama or when Biden appoints somebody, they go along that line.
And if he's right, and if we give this a couple more years and let Democrats pack the court, they will torch the Constitution. Ketanji Brown Jackson will have several colleagues at her level. That's what it takes to get their agenda through. They don't care, which is why it's as important as ever for these justices to make the right decision this spring. 9% of U.S. births in 2023 were to illegal or temporary immigrants. That should scare the hell out of just about all of us. 10%, basically. If the Supreme Court fails to make the right decision here, then Congress must, before the midterms. It's what the citizens of the United States want and require, and it's what America needs if it wants to have a future. That's a fact. It's what we have to have a future in this country. So that brings me back to one last point, the filibuster. Get rid of it, John Thune. John Thune, grow a pair. Step up, do your damn job, and protect this country. That's the oath you took, by the way, to defend this country from enemies both foreign and domestic. And if you don't do that, then who do you really work for? I'd like to see the pay stubs, if you don't mind. All right. That's the monologue. I used to think a mattress was just furniture until I got my ghost bed. Honestly, the first night I slept on it, I woke up thinking, wow, this is what great sleep is supposed to feel like, because Ghost Bed doesn't build mattresses like furniture. They build engineered sleep systems. Their beds are serious health equipment. Beds designed for relief and recovery, not looks, not fluff. Your body needs to heal when you sleep, not fighting to get comfortable. I notice a difference right away, and I love it. If you're waking up stiff, if you're tossing and turning, if you're too hot and can't sleep, or if you're reaching for pain meds before you go to bed, that's not aging. That could be your old mattress talking. And here's another thing I love about Ghost Bed. You say, well, how do I check it out? Well, you get 101 nights to try it at home. If you don't feel the difference, if you don't love this bed, you can send it back risk-free. Ghost Bed is also offering my audience the lowest prices of the season, plus an extra 10% off. It's a heck of a deal. I mean, I've checked this out. We love this thing. Go to ghostbed.com/Gruber. Use the promo code Gruber. That's ghostbed.com/Gruber, promo code Gruber. And here's another little kicker on it all. It's an American-made bed. Support the home team when you go to bed at night. Pretty good idea. Donald Trump bringing manufacturing back to America. We appreciate that he is. I'll take a break and be right back. This is The Steve Gruber Show.
Running on empty, brain fog, can't focus, and those sugar-loaded energy drinks? Sure, they spike you fast, then crash you hard. Fix it with Soldier Fuel, the official energy drink of Real America's Voice. Soldier Fuel was born in the military to solve a real problem. Troops were relying on sugary drinks that wreck performance, so they built a better option. Zero sugar and steady energy, powered by caffeine, taurine, inositol, and extra B vitamins for clean energy and focus. No roller coaster crash. This isn't gas station hype. Soldier Fuel was built alongside the U.S. military and proven where it counts. Used by American soldiers and elite special operations.
This is really good.
And when you fuel up, you give back. 15% of profits go to pro-military charities. Scan the QR code, search for Soldier Fuel on Amazon, or go to buysoldierfuel.com and get an automatic 15% off your entire order.
Well, oil has come way back up since yesterday, and I'm telling you, there is no reason for this surge in oil prices. $108 a barrel today. It was down to about $90 a barrel yesterday. And in fact, I think it got down below 90 for a moment, and now it's back up $18 or $20 a barrel. There's no reason for this. President Trump says we're about done with our operations in Iran. Said that last night to the nation. Again, I'm going to get into that in detail coming up as to what he said and where we are. But there are good things happening in the economy. Consumer confidence is looking good, that's for sure. And General Motors is boosting pickup truck production right here in my home state of Michigan. That's good news. Chevrolet says it takes 4 to 6 months to sustain high oil prices before buyers reconsider trucks or SUVs. The demand is really high, and they're ramping up production of heavy-duty pickup trucks here in Michigan this summer amid strong demand for gas and diesel-powered trucks despite elevated fuel prices. It's what I drive. I drive a Chevy pickup truck. I'll tell you right now. Quite pleased with it. We also have a Suburban. I guess we're homers in that regard because we support the home team and the products made right here in our state, or at least in America. So there you have it. And there you have it. This part of the program brought to you by my friends at the Wellness Company. A big medical hack in 2025 was several peer-reviewed studies identifying the direct connections between anti-parasitic medications, listen to this, having off-label benefits fighting a wide variety of cancers. This makes sense. The connection between tumor growth and parasites has been known for years. They feed off the same kind of sugar. If you disrupt that, the tumor doesn't grow. While the CDC remains silent, they have admitted that millions of Americans suffer from parasitic infections, too, that often go undetected. And that's why Dr. Peter McCullough and the Wellness Company have put together and discussed these studies that make a clear case to do at least one medical-grade parasite cleanse annually. The Wellness Company's proprietary USA-compounded ivermectin and mebendazole is a doctor-prescribed gold standard combination dose designed to help you eliminate parasites plus get other incredible benefits. Every bottle has 90 capsules, enough for 4 21-day cleanses. The high-strength formula cannot be found at your pharmacy, but can be found here. TWC.health/Gruber. You'll save $60 and get free shipping. TWC.health/Gruber. Save $60, get free shipping, and flush all that nonsense out. Plus, it could help you fighting cancer. I'll be right back.
Running on empty, brain fog, can't focus, and those sugar-loaded energy drinks? Sure, they spike you fast, then crash you hard. Fix it with Soldier Fuel, the official energy drink of Real America's Voice. Soldier Fuel was born in the military to solve a real problem. Troops were relying on sugary drinks that wreck performance, so they built a better option. Zero sugar and steady energy, powered by caffeine, taurine, inositol, and extra B vitamins for clean energy and focus. No roller coaster crash. This isn't gas station hype. Soldier Fuel was built alongside the U.S. military and proven where it counts. Used by American soldiers and elite special operations.
This is really good.
And when you fuel up, you give back. 15% of profits go to pro-military charities. Scan the QR code, search for Soldier Fuel on Amazon, or go to buysoldierfuel.com and get an automatic 15% off your entire order.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shop. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today.
It's Stacy from Texas. I watch Real America's Voice because I need to learn, and I know I can get the truth through Rav. God bless everyone, and always love the children. Amen.
Howdy, Rav fam. It's Warbringer here. Love you all. Rav is the only place to get the truth, and this is the only way we're going to be able to restore our republic. Love you all. See you in the chat.
Hey guys, my name is Jeff. I'm from Massachusetts. I love Rav because of the free speech and the political wranglings that go on in the chat every day.
I want to go back to that attack on the synagogue that happened in West Bloomfield, Michigan here 2-3 weeks ago. The attacker came in with a vehicle laden with explosives, was armed to the teeth, but he didn't get but about 2 steps past the pickup truck because those people inside the synagogue were armed, trained, and ready. And for houses of worship in this country, That is becoming the norm, not the exception, and for good reason. Houses of worship are targets for terrorists, whether they're lone wolves or a coordinated attack. They are targets. Rob Chadwick is the principal training advisor with the United States Concealed Carry Association, joining me now. Rob, good morning.
Good morning, Steve.
Easter, obviously a big security concern. It is Holy Week. Good Friday tomorrow, Easter Sunday coming, big turnout, obviously, at churches. But a lot of churches are taking proactive steps. I know mine does. There's a whole security team that is not just outside, but spread throughout the worshipers, the attendees of church. So if somebody comes in, I feel terrible for the person that might come into my church because I don't think they would do particularly well. But this is a concern, isn't it?
There's no question, Steve. This is certainly, the most holy week for Christians in the United States and everywhere around the world. And, typically we have lots of people traveling, so most services will be absolutely packed, right? Sometimes they actually have extra rooms set aside because so many people show up. And that provides unfortunately, such a tempting target for these would-be mass shooters or terrorists. They want to disrupt our way of life, Steve. And so any organization that hosts that many people, certainly a religious organization, is really irresponsible at this point if you haven't at least acknowledged that this thing can happen. These types of things are happening with greater frequency. And so those organizations that have taken the time and made the choice to devote a little bit of time and consideration ahead of time to preparation, to vigilance, to being ready and knowing what to do in a moment's notice, Steve, those are the ones that typically achieve a much more positive outcome in these, unfortunately, more frequent events.
And you spent more than 2 decades as an FBI supervisory special agent, so you've worked in situations, you've seen the aftermath of this sort of thing on occasion during your time with a badge. All right, so let's talk about training. You offer training at the United States Concealed Carry Association, so do some other operations, because this is important. And I say this to people that have concealed carry permits and they haven't fired their gun in a couple of years. You too need to be trained. You too need to blow the dust off that thing and use it once a month or enough so that you can feel proficient in case something happens, because it's not just the church. It could be the grocery store. It could be a movie theater. Gosh, who knows where it might happen, right? You need to be prepared. And that means understanding how to use your equipment in the most high-pressure situation, right?
No question about it, Steve. And unfortunately, I was one of the SWAT team members when I was assigned to the FBI SWAT team in South Carolina. I responded to the attack at Mother Emanuel Church. And that event, more than any other, really hammered home to me the importance of preparation, the importance of acknowledgement. This could happen to me because I saw what happened in that room, and it was absolutely heartbreaking. Those people did nothing wrong. They were in the right place where they're doing what they were supposed to be. They actually welcomed this attacker into their midst that night. And unfortunately, it was very evident in the aftermath of that. The crime scene photos were the most heartbreaking because of the 9 people that were murdered in that room. Almost nobody moved from where they sat because they were overcome by events. And that's what we see, Steve, is those people, those communities, those organizations that believe this could never happen to me are the ones that are the most profoundly affected. It's the ones that take the time and have that acknowledgement. Yes, I am ready. I'm willing to prepare some. The counterpoint to that, as you saw, was the synagogue just a few months ago. And then just a few months before that, Steve, last summer, 25 miles down the road from the synagogue in Wayne, Michigan, we had that foiled attack where the gunman showed up with a fully automatic rifle. Luckily, a quick-thinking bystander was able to at least disrupt the attack with his vehicle because he didn't have a gun. But that alerted the prepared and armed response team, who had just been to a USCCA training class, believe it or not, 2 nights before this. They were ready. Their mindset, the most important thing was that mindset. They had done the practice and preparation for years, and they saved untold numbers of lives.
This is not a drill, I guess is what comes to mind for me, because, look, none of us would be surprised, Rob, to wake up tomorrow to hear that there had been an attack on some sort of religious gathering somewhere, whether Christian, Jewish, doesn't matter. There have been attacks somewhere. So what preparedness, what does it look like for a congregation? Let's start with the basics.
The first thing it starts with, Steve, is acceptance, right? You must accept it could happen to me, it could happen here. And then you have a longer discussion, right? Who is going to take part of it? I say make this part of your ministry. It is a gift of your time. It is a gift of your attention. Several people in your congregation make that choice that, you know what, I'm not going to participate in the worship service so that others can. I am truly going to look out and watch out for those people so they can fully immerse themselves in their worship service and enjoy it, right? But it starts with preparation and acceptance. Now, USCCA does have, and I've been so proud to put together an entire training program, uscca.com/worship. is a website that has lots of resources, really just to help congregations and individuals get that conversation started, because that's the most crucial and sometimes the hardest step.
Yeah, it certainly is. All right, so tell the folks, the United States Concealed Carry Association, you offer these trainings. How long is the training? What is involved? What can people expect?
It really is up to the individual, Steve. So if you want to just get an idea of where to start, that's the website, uscca.com/worship. There are multiple day training courses. There are hour-long training courses, anything you want. It's almost a choose-your-own-adventure type of thing. How the level of preparation, the level of involvement. Steve, I don't want everyone to think they have to carry a gun to church. That's not the case. What they do, though, is have to accept, I do have a role. I do have some responsibility. One of the heroes of the church shooting, unfortunately, in Wayne, Michigan, was one of the preschool teachers who just took charge. She was not armed. She was not part of the security team, but she was certainly part of the security program. She ushered all the kids and all of the bystanders away from where the shooting was taking place. No question, she saved lives. So a role, whether it's medical, whether it's just lookout, there's so many different roles for people. I don't want everyone to think, well, I have to get a gun and get trained. No, but be part of that team. Invest in that team. Understand who is looking out for you and where they are and what they're going to do and what you should do, what your family members should do. So many of us have loved ones who have mobility issues.
True.
Let's plan ahead for that, right?
Yeah, work through it. Give them the website so they can find you if they want to be safer and not sitting ducks, Rob, real quickly.
uscca.com/worship is the best place to start, Steve. It's a landing page. It'll take you to both online and in-person opportunities for training all across the country.
And for any of you keeping score at home, yes, I am a member of the USCCA. Ivy and I both for a number of years now. Great material, great information every single month. Rob, you're doing a great job. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Steve. Stay safe.
All right, stay safe. And keep your head on a swivel, folks. Your head on a swivel. We live in interesting but sometimes dangerous times. I'll take a break and be right back. It is The Steve Gruber Show.
Running on empty, brain fog, can't focus, and those sugar-loaded energy drinks? Sure, they spike you fast, then crash you hard. Fix it with Soldier Fuel, the official energy drink of Real America's Voice. Soldier Fuel was born in the military to solve a real problem. Troops were relying on sugary drinks that wreck performance, so they built a better option. Zero sugar and steady energy, powered by caffeine, taurine, inositol, and extra B vitamins for clean energy and focus. No roller coaster crash. This isn't gas station hype. Soldier Fuel was built alongside the U.S. military and proven where it counts. Used by American soldiers and elite special operations.
This is really good.
And when you fuel up, you give back. 15% of profits go to pro-military charities. Scan the QR code, search for Soldier Fuel on Amazon, or go to buysoldierfuel.com and get an automatic 15% off your entire order.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today.
It's Stacy from Texas. I watch Real America's Voice because I need to learn, and I know I can get the truth through Rav. God bless everyone, and always love the children. Amen.
Howdy, Rav fams. It's Warbringer here. Love you all. Rav is the only place to get the truth, and this is the only way we're going to be able to restore our republic. Love you all. See you in the chat.
Hey guys, my name is Jeff. I'm from Massachusetts. I love Rav because of the free speech and the political wranglings that go on in the chat every day.
Welcome back to the conversation. You know, there's one factor that a lot of people overlook when it comes to your health, and I'm talking about obesity, stress, your blood pressure, all of these things related to one thing that people don't think a lot about, and that is, how'd you sleep last night? I've even got one of these rings here so I can monitor and say, okay, here's what happened, here's my deep sleep, here's my REM sleep. Was it a good night, a bad night? You get a score. Let me tell you something. Years ago, I made the decision that a bed is not a piece of furniture. It is an essential piece of health equipment. I believe that, and so does my next guest, Mark Werner. He built the company Ghost Bed, not because he wanted a bed company, but because he had health concerns himself. Mark, welcome to the program.
Good morning, and thank you for having Ghost Bed today, Steve.
Always a good morning. And look, we've got the product. We really like it. It's everything you said it was going to be. But for you, it was not building a mattress company or a bed company. You had a personal story behind it, didn't you?
Yeah. I've had 3 neck surgeries, very invasive, fusions, metal, all that kind of stuff. I couldn't find a mattress or a pillow that worked for my condition. So I ended up inventing it. And the reason I was able to invent it is because I was blessed to come from the Werner ladder family that my grandfather started 100 years ago. And my dad invented the aluminum and then the fiberglass ladder. So having been his kind of guinea pig for many years in the polymer side for the fiberglass, I had a lot of the skills and training to then get me into the memory foam mattress business when I started Ghost Bed with my wife 25 years ago. And that led to great success with Ghost Bed and a whole series of different kinds of mattresses for different kinds of positions, like the one you have and like the one so many people have. And it's just comfort and support.
You know, your body is supposed to rejuvenate itself, rebuild itself when you sleep. But if you get bad sleep, like I say, your blood pressure can go up. It really has a lot of effect on how much you weigh, weight loss. It has a lot on stress. Look, if you wake up feeling lousy, your whole day is off to a bad start. That's just the way it is, right? So my question to you is, what does a bad mattress do? People say, well, I saved money on the mattress. You know, maybe not a great decision to go cheap on the mattress, right?
Right. You didn't save anything. And Ghost Bed, we're high quality, affordable costs. So we make it so the majority of the people can afford a very high quality mattress. But if you're waking up feeling poor, back pain, this pain, neck pain, etc., you're kind of getting a health report from your mattress saying you need a new mattress. And you need to really get something out there, get on something that is going to work for your body. Every 7 or 8 years, we suggest you replace your mattress because your body changes, your mattress changes, it wears out like a piece of undergarments, etc. And you should really look at getting a new mattress. At Ghost Bed, we have the Mark quiz, so we kind of try to walk you through what your issues are and try to align you with a mattress that works well for your person.
Yeah, your inflammation builds, pain and fatigue. And I know I'm talking to somebody out there when I say, are you taking a couple of Tylenol before you hit the rack every night? Because if you are, you're just masking a problem that you're not solving. And so Look, your body heals when you sleep. You need to do that. Necks, shoulders, hips, back pain, whatever it is. If you're sleeping 7 or 8 hours and you still feel worn out when you're getting up, you need to change the plan. I mean, that's it, isn't it, Mark? I mean, there's no more important thing than sleep. People don't realize, and they overlook it. They look at their diet, they look at their exercise. They don't pay enough attention to their sleep and how critical it is to having a healthy day and a healthy life.
They never do. Sleep time is recharging time. And that's when your whole body regenerates all the cellular structure in your person. It's so critical. And people spend so much time and capital on other things where they could just get quality sleep. They would be so much ahead of the game and feel so much better and just be happier people. And feel better.
For somebody, for us, we're up early, sometimes before 5 every day to do this program. So our sleep is important. When we go to bed, look, my ring tells me I need 6 hours and 50 minutes. I need a little bit less than some, but I got to make sure it's quality, quality. Because if you're getting shorted, you're just not, I can't do this, right? Not with any effectiveness. So it's important for me. It's important for anybody. What's the first thing that people say to you when they switch to a ghost bed? I mean, for us, it was comfortable. Very cool, by the way. I think it's patented the way your cooling technology works. But what's the first thing people notice?
They just love it. And they just say, I can't believe there could be such a delta from what I had before. And what I do is we have over 100,000 reviews on ourghostbed.com, on Costco, who we sell, Sam's Club, Amazon, so independent platforms. And I read every single review. So I see what the feedback is. And it's just amazing. Just people consistently are telling me it's changing their life, which I think is a really big statement. But if they're willing to say that, it's obviously having a very positive effect. So that new mattress is really helping that person feel comfortable, sleep better, and when you sleep better, as we said, you're going to be a happier camper.
Your life is better. Now, we got a Split King Luxe. It's fabulous. It is. And Ivy thinks it's better. And we had a much more expensive mattress, I can assure you. The mattress we changed out of was far more expensive.
Got it.
Yeah. So a couple of things. First of all, this is an American-made product. I like that. My spouse and Ivy and I sleep differently. We're both very happy. We have a split bed. It's perfectly good. And, I mean, there's something for everybody with Ghost Bed, isn't there?
There is. And the beauty of the Split King adjustable, which is something that we helped pioneer years ago and lean into, is that people sleep differently. Temperature-wise, we have cooling patterns, so we have very cooling mattresses or neutral cooling mattresses, different kinds of feel, medium firm, soft, different kinds of things like that. And you're going to sleep differently than your wife, like you just said, and so many people have that same problem. In fact, in this country, 20% of the country sleep in separate bedrooms. They call it literally a sleep divorce. I mean, everyone's still happy and married, but they have different needs. They sleep in different rooms.
Sure.
The Split King adjustable allows them to come together, pick out exactly what they want, and then, of course, the adjustable has massage, head up, leg up, USB charging, lights. It's just the ultimate
It is the machine. I'm telling you, it really is. It's got everything you could possibly need. And here's for any of you out there that are thinking, well, I don't want to buy a mattress I haven't seen. 101 days you get. 101 days, no risk. And if you use the promo code Gruber today, you're going to save 10%. I want you to go to ghostbed.com. Use the promo code Gruber. Look at this product. Trust me, it's American-made. Compare it to the other really expensive mattresses. You're going to be pleased. We're thrilled, Mark. Absolutely thrilled. And I appreciate you being here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. And I'm glad you love your Ghost Bed.
I absolutely do. Again, it's ghostbed.com. Use the promo code Gruber. You can save an extra 10%. Again, folks, I wouldn't tell it to you if I didn't already use the product. All right? That's the way it is. This is The Steve Gruber Show.
Running on empty, brain fog, can't focus, and those sugar-loaded energy drinks? Sure, they spike you fast, then crash you hard. Fix it with Soldier Fuel, the official energy drink of real America's voice. Soldier Fuel was born in the military to solve a real problem. Troops were relying on sugary drinks that wreck performance, so they built a better option. Zero sugar and steady energy, powered by caffeine, taurine, inositol, and extra B vitamins for clean energy and focus. No roller coaster crash. This isn't gas station hype. Soldier Fuel was built alongside the U.S. military and proven where it counts. Used by American soldiers and elite special operations.
This is really baby.
And when you fuel up, you give back. 15% of profits go to pro-military charities. Scan the QR code, search for Soldier Fuel on Amazon, or go to buysoldierfuel.com and get an automatic 15% off your entire order.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today.
It's Stacy from Texas. I watch Real America's Voice because I need to learn, and I know I can get the truth through Rav. God bless everyone, and always love the children. Amen.
Howdy, Rav fams. It's Warbringer here. Love you all. Rav is the only place to get the truth, and this is the only way we're going to be able to restore our republic. Love you all. See you in the chat.
All right, here's something that I never would have considered. Weight loss, obviously a multi-billion-dollar industry in America. And of course, you hear about these GLP-1s that are being used by all sorts of folks. Which, you know, look, if that's the road you want to take, okay. If you think that's the way to help you lose weight, I encourage you to do whatever can make you more healthy. But for farmers, I was surprised to see this. For farmers, it's hurting farmers, potato farmers in particular. People don't eat as much. When it comes to French fries, for example, and maybe you've done this. I know Ivy and I have. Instead of getting a burger and you know, 2 tubs of fries, you say, all right, we'll split it. We'll split the fries, certainly. Sometimes we split the burger. Sometimes we split the meal, right? Happens when you get older, I guess. It's okay. But splitting the fries, so there's a bumper crop of potatoes with nobody to buy them. That's a concern happening in Europe for sure. The trend for Ozempic and Mounjaro and the rest is pushing down the demand for potatoes in Europe. And potato farmers are like, man, we're in real trouble here. One farmer here, Andy Goodacre, UK farmer, has 1.3 million pounds of potatoes in stock, valued at about $160,000 US. He's going to have to dump them, he thinks. Nobody's buying them. So he's going to have to take $160,000 worth of potatoes and dump them. Maybe there's got to be a way you can save them for the future, right? Because at some point, you know, you're going to hit a food crunch. Those things happen. Natural disaster, a war, whatever. Isn't there some way to preserve the potatoes so you don't just throw it away so that when you need food, it's there? Be as paranoid as a Boy Scout, I say. Prepare. I mean, we prepare. I mean, we're not like some people. We don't have 10,000 cans of peas stored in the basement. But, you know, we're ready to a point. I think everybody should be. You have a few days of food and a few days of water and whatever, in case there's a big storm or whatever happens. Anyhow, never thought that weight loss drugs would crush demand for potatoes, but here it is. You won't hear that anywhere else. Another big hour of the program straight ahead. Be sure to follow us on social media. Send me an email at stevegruber.com if you have something to say, and we'll be right back.
Running on empty, brain fog, can't focus, and those sugar-loaded energy drinks? Sure, they spike you fast, then crash you hard. Fix it with Soldier Fuel, the official energy drink of Real America's Voice. Soldier Fuel was born in the military to solve a real problem. Troops were relying on sugary drinks that wreck performance, so they built a better option. Zero sugar and steady energy, powered by caffeine, taurine, inositol, and extra B vitamins for clean energy and focus. No roller coaster crash. This isn't gas station hype. Soldier Fuel was built alongside the U.S. military and proven where it counts. Used by American soldiers and elite special operations.
This is really good.
And when you fuel up, you give back. 15% of profits go to pro-military charities. Scan the QR code, search for Soldier Fuel on Amazon, or go to buysoldierfuel.com and get an automatic 15% off your entire order.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate.
Bates here with your Real America's Voice news break. We appreciate you being here with us. We have an eye on the White House as the latest press briefing is set to get underway at any moment now. Here's a live look at the room as journalists are taking their seats and preparing to hear from White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. You can imagine that much of the conversation is going to have to do with the war in Iran and the ground troops that have already been deployed to that region. We, of course, will take you to this White House press briefing live the moment it happens. In the meantime, the world's decreasing oil supply due to Iran limiting maritime traffic through the Strait of Hormuz is forcing some difficult decisions for heads of state. President Trump, for instance, says he is considering seizing Iran's Karg Island oil terminal. Despite reported progress in a ceasefire negotiation with Iran, President Trump appears prepared to put U.S. boots on the ground if needed. Meantime, Pakistan says it will host talks between Tehran and Washington soon. Iran's parliament speaker, however, dismissing the talks and instead focusing on the U.S. military buildup in the region, saying, quote, waiting for the arrival of American troops on the ground to set them on fire and punish their regional partners forever. NASA is in the final stages of preparation for an historic return to the moon. The Artemis 2 mission is now just days away from launch. Teams at the Kennedy Space Center are moving into final countdown operations with liftoff targeted for as soon as April 1st and conditions looking promising for an April 1st launch. The mission will send 4 astronauts around the moon and back, marking the first crewed lunar flight in more than a half century. It's a major step towards long-term human exploration of deep space. NASA officials say this flight will test critical systems and lay the groundwork for future missions. That would include eventual plans to return astronauts to the lunar surface. President Trump's day at the White House includes taking pictures with this year's class of White House interns. 47 will also participate in a policy meeting and take time this afternoon to sign legislation. In the meantime, the commander in construction, as I call him, says the planned White House ballroom is ahead of schedule and under budget. His assessment of the project comes as a lawsuit seeking to stop the project moves forward. Aboard Air Force One on Sunday, the president showing off renderings of the new ballroom.
Now the military is building a big complex under the ballroom, which has come out recently because of a stupid lawsuit that was filed. But the military is building a massive complex under the ballroom, and that's under construction, and we're doing very well.
And while the president is showing off what the new White House ballroom will look like, he's also waiting for Congress and the Senate to agree on funding the Department of Homeland Security so that TSA agents can get their paychecks. The DHS shutdown is now the longest partial government shutdown in U.S. history. The department is the fourth largest agency in the federal government, and it makes up just under 10% of the government's total workforce. The U.S. House has passed a stopgap DHS funding bill after House Republicans rejected a bill that's from the Senate that would have reopened the agency. DHS says more than 500 TSA agents have now quit their jobs due to the shutdown. Thousands more have called out for work. Again, we are waiting for White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt to arrive for the latest White House press briefing. It was set to start at the top of the hour. We're expecting that she will arrive here any moment now. Journalists already in place waiting for that briefing to happen. As you can imagine, the issue of Iran is likely going to take center stage, as many of the questions will have to do with that. There will also likely be lots of questions about the Department of Homeland Security and funding for that agency, as it is now shut down for well over 40 days. Again, the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. On Friday, you may remember, President Trump signed an executive order authorizing payment for TSA agents who have been working for well over 6 weeks with no pay. Also, the House has passed a stopgap measure that would also send funding to those TSA workers in lieu of the Senate's bill, which, of course, did not pass in the U.S. House. So we'll be covering all of that for you throughout the day, and we'll take you live here to the White House press briefing the moment it starts.
Running on empty, brain fog, can't focus, and those sugar-loaded energy drinks? Sure, they spike you fast, then crash you hard. Fix it with Soldier Fuel, the official energy drink of real America's voice. Soldier Fuel was born in the military to solve a real problem. Troops were relying on sugary drinks that wreck performance, so they built a better option. Zero sugar and steady energy, powered by caffeine, taurine, inositol, and extra B vitamins for clean energy and focus. No roller coaster crash. This isn't gas station hype. Soldier Fuel was built alongside the U.S. military and proven where it counts. Used by American soldiers and elite special operations.
This is really good.
And when you fuel up, you give back. 15% of profits go to pro-military charities. Scan the QR code, search for Soldier Fuel on Amazon, or go to buysoldierfuel.com and get an automatic 15% off your entire order. From the farms to the factories, from small towns to city streets, this is the fight for the soul of our nation.
We're watching Democrats attack democracy. Do not be fooled.
The strength, the grit, the greatness of the American spirit, all right here.
The left wanted power, not peace, but there's a resistance rising. A generation saying enough, enough. We've tried it their way, and it failed.
The Steve Gruber Show with your host, Steve Gruber, starts right now.
All right, and welcome to it as we jump right back into it. Another action-packed day here as we fight for you and put America first every single day. Three big things this hour. Number one, Los Angeles is a city on the decline, rapid decline. In fact, it's seen the biggest population loss of any major city in the nation. Tens of thousands of people. You see bad policies lead to the exit. Number two, Greenland back in the news today as President Trump is negotiating with Denmark to open at least 3 new U.S. military bases on the island. I told you he'd get what he wanted before it was over. And number three, the monthly jobs report came in far better than expected. Oil, though, overnight jumped about $17, $18. No reason for that. It was at well below $100. Now it's at $108. But consumer confidence is better than expected. So if the war in Iran can conclude in the near future, the economy, as I predicted before the war, could start easily to take off and could be hitting on all cylinders well before the midterm elections. That would be good for the president and his team. Now, he appeared last night on prime time, as you know, to address the war and so much more. Here he is.
American involvement in World War I lasted 1 year, 7 months, and 5 days. World War II lasted for 3 years, 8 months, and 25 days. The Korean War lasted for 3 years, 1 month, and 2 days. The Vietnam War lasted for 19 years, 5 months, and 29 days. Iraq went on for 8 years, 8 months, and 28 days. We are in this military operation, so powerful, so brilliant, against one of the most powerful countries for 32 days. And the country has been eviscerated and essentially is really no longer a threat. They were the bully of the Middle East, but they're the bully no longer. This is a true investment in your children and your grandchildren's future. The whole world is watching, and they can't leave the power, strength, and brilliance. They just can't believe what they're seeing. They leave it to your imagination, but they can't believe what they're seeing, the brilliance of the United States military.
And there you have it, President Trump saying, look, we've only been in this 32 days. He seemed to give a lot of indications that maybe this would wrap up sometime soon. We know that he's in negotiations, but how long does it last? Let's bring Ivy in. Ivy, good morning. Glad to have you here, as always. The president speaking in prime time. A little tough on us, but we catch it as best we can. All right, so we've been there 32 days, and he says they've been decimated. All of that's true. But there are concerns, as I see the oil up at $108 a barrel today. There are concerns that it drags on for a long time and the economy gets a little bumpy. But so far, people seem to be hanging out. They seem to understand that it's temporary, right?
Oh, absolutely. And something else that he says is, to the countries that can't get fuel, many of which refuse to get involved in the decapitation of Iran, I have a suggestion. Number one, buy oil from the United States. Or number two, go and get it. Build up some delayed courage. Go to the strait and just take it. Yeah. Iran has been essentially decimated. The hard part is done. So, you know, what exactly do you think that means? Just go and get it. You know, does that mean you have the ability to move your tankers through and get the fuel that you should have been, or the oil that you should have been able to get before? That's how I take it. I mean, I take it as this. Dear United Kingdom, France, Germany, whoever needs those oil supplies, we don't. We get about 2% of our oil from isn't China and Russia on that list?
Right. Well, then come in and run your ships, your military ships, to protect the oil tankers. If the oil is that necessary to you, do it. The United States isn't going to continue. Mostly that's a message for Europe.
Right.
We're done babysitting you. We're done footing the bill for those babysitting services. We're done supplying you with money and equipment and defense because Big Brother's over here. So Europe has squandered their opportunity. I mean, the English army right now is pathetic. Pathetic. I don't think they can defend the island because they've neglected investment. They've neglected buying purchases. They're over budget. They're underfunded. They're understaffed. I don't know what good the army, the Royal Army is. I don't.
Right. Maybe they don't think it's necessary. I don't know.
Right, because we're always there to bail them out.
Right.
You know, when Ukraine started, we're there bailing them out and sending them billions of dollars more than most people would even have considered. Right. Putting in all those Javelin missiles and all that equipment. Well, England and the rest of Europe demanded we do that. Now we say we need help moving ships through the Straits of Hormuz. They're like, yeah, you know.
Maybe we'll go over there. We support you as long as you do it.
Right. And so,
so what do you think this means for the future of the Iranians? You know, I know that there's a few groups that are saying, hey, we'll go in. There is someone that has been put into place. But what does this mean for the future of the Iranian people? Are they still, you know, is there still a necessary movement to rise up and take back their country?
Haven't seen it.
Right. So, I mean, what do you see? What are you forecasting?
Well, the problem that I see is you trade the devil you know for the devil you don't. Now, having said that, I'm okay with everything that's gone on in Iran so far. I might be an outlier. I don't care. Right. For 47 years, this regime has terrorized not just the United States and murdered our people in places like Lebanon.
Right.
But they've supplied the Hamas, the Houthis, Hezbollah, Al-Shabaab in Africa. I mean, they supply all these terrorist operations.
Well, let's not forget that they also, during this battle, have launched missiles at places where there are civilians, so hotels and all over the Middle East. So if they were willing to do that, what's to say that if they did have a nuclear bomb, that they would use it?
Right. Well, we also learned, while they said we only have missiles that'll go 1,200 miles, then they launched a pair of missiles at Diego Garcia way out in the middle of the Indian Ocean. That's 3,000 miles.
Right.
So they lied, because 3,000 miles means that they can reach Paris, London, Berlin, and still these NATO countries fail to have a spine to get involved for their own well-being.
Right.
To me, it's outrageous, and so we'll see. I think that, the market this week.
Yeah, it's looking better. It's kind of bouncing around, but it did.
Came up 1,200 points 2 days ago, 400 points yesterday.
Well, and as you were talking there about the economy, the economists expected only an addition of 39,000 jobs. There was an addition of 62,000 jobs. So double. Far better. It was better than expected. And also the consumer confidence index was at 91.8.
Which is very high.
It was expected at 88.
Right.
So it also rose and beat expectations. So people are feeling good about the economy despite raising the rise of gas prices. And like you said,
despite what you hear on
people are
CNN.
like, it's a commodity. I don't see why there would be a reason if we're not getting our oil from that particular place. Right. Why would it affect the United States price? But
little history lesson here. Well, it's a global commodity. When there's a pinch in the price, it goes up globally, and that's fine. But I remind the folks that during the Biden administration, oil got to $140 a barrel, 140 with no war. So
and the prices are trickling back down, so we'll be fine.
All right, Ivy, hold tight. We got more to talk about right here on the Steve Gruber Show.
Running on empty, brain fog, can't focus, and those sugar-loaded energy drinks? Sure, they spike you fast, then crash you hard. Fix it with Soldier Fuel, the official energy drink of Real America's Voice. Soldier Fuel was born in the military to solve a real problem. Troops were relying on sugary drinks that wreck performance, so they built a better option. Zero sugar and steady energy, powered by caffeine, taurine, inositol, and extra B vitamins for clean energy and focus. No roller coaster crash. This isn't gas station hype. Soldier Fuel was built alongside the U.S. military and proven where it counts. Used by American soldiers and elite special operations.
This is really good.
And when you fuel up, you give back. 15% of profits go to pro-military charities. Scan the QR code, search for Soldier Fuel on Amazon, or go to buysoldierfuel.com and get an automatic 15% off your entire order.
Hey folks, it's your friend John Rich. I co-founded Old Glory Bank because we heard too many stories about people getting canceled by their bank because they didn't agree with their politics. The government wanted to know where you shopped. If you bought a Bible or you shopped at a sporting goods store, you're probably on a list. We created Old Glory Bank because America needed a bank that would protect their privacy and security. Exercising your constitutional rights is not a criminal activity, and neither is loving your country. At Old Glory Bank, we stand with you.
I'm a J6er. I spent 1,143 days in prison.
About a year in prison.
We were prosecuted, persecuted.
J6ers have been treated like terrorists.
And we need your help.
Stand in the Gap was founded to stand in the gap for J6ers working to rebuild their lives after being incarcerated.
For just $10 or more, you can help these patriots get back on their feet again. Every dollar you give is being matched up to $50,000. Go now to j6support.com and donate today.
It's Stacy from Texas. I watch Real America's Voice because I need to learn, and I know I can get the truth through Rav. God bless everyone, and always love the children. Amen.
Howdy, Rav fam. It's Warbringer here. Love you all. Rav is the only place to get the truth, and this is the only way we're going to be able to restore our republic. Love you all. See you in the chat.
Hey guys, my name is Jeff. I'm from Massachusetts. I love Rav because of the free speech and the political wranglings that go on in the chat every day.
All right, getting back to it now. Just jumping in the chat room there on Getter and answering a couple of quick questions. Ivy's still here, of course, as I mentioned. And, boy, the weather was so nice, and now it's not so nice anymore. I'm a little disappointed by that. But you always bring sunshine into the room, so you got that going for us. All right, so what's on your list?
So, I've been watching it online, the Artemis 2, NASA's first crewed mission to the moon in over 50 years since the Apollo 17 in 1972.
Right.
Very cool to watch. They're wanting to return humans to the moon, despite controversy of a lot of people thinking that we never went. But something that I found
I just laugh about that, but go on.
Didn't Buzz Aldrin beat the crap out of somebody who came up to him one time and said,
Yes.
"Oh, it's a conspiracy.
Yes.
This is all fake, blah, 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 blah." And Buzz Aldrin, who was like 80 years old at the time, just punched the guy out and knocked him out with one punch.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
It's like, how dare you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
He didn't even say a word. He just listened to him, and then Buzz Aldrin hauled off and slugged him and knocked him out.
You know what's funny about that is that, none of those things were ever said in the 70s or 80s or 90s. This is a new thing. This is an internet thing. Oh, didn't land on the moon. Okay.
Yeah, like 20, 25 years, basically since 2000, yeah.
Exactly. Anyhow.
Yeah. So something I found funny about it was that for some period of time, the toilet was broken. And you actually have to get permission to use the bathroom because in certain times of the mission, it's very critical that no movement is made. But it's like thinking, how does one go to the bathroom in space?
That's true. There's no gravity.
It's like,
well,
is it like a suction bowl?
Well, actually, I think it might be. Now that you mentioned that, I think that's actually true. I think there's actually suction.
Oh, my gosh.
Anyhow.
It makes me giggle. But they're testing life support systems, navigation and communication, heat shield for re-entry and back into our atmosphere, and manual piloting in deep space. So a lot of interesting things happening up there.
So last night I had a conversation with our daughter. You weren't here. You were at Bible study. But I had a conversation with our daughter. She says, leave the moon alone. She goes, I don't want people. Here's what she said. I actually thought it was an interesting argument. I want to be able to look up at the moon and know that it's God's creation and there's no fingerprints of man all over it. I don't want a base on the moon. And I thought, you know what? Maybe she's not wrong about that. Anyhow, I thought.
So go to Mars instead.
Right. Well, she didn't like that either. She said, look, God gave us this. We don't need everything. Just do it anyhow. Right. I thought it was an interesting conversation.
Well, I think what is it? Elon Musk has, insisted upon that we have to, get to Mars and start to create civilization on Mars, just to make sure that the human race survives. That's his perspective. But
not everybody agrees.
Not necessarily.
Apparently, not everybody agrees. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I've got to bring this up. We've looked at this, and something that is really amusing to me are the Marco Rubio memes that come out.
They are hilarious.
They are hilarious.
Well, it first started with, I think there was a moment that Trump was with a couple of heads of state, and he was being very confrontational. Was it? I don't recall.
I think it was Zelensky, actually.
Was it Zelensky?
It might have been.
And he kind of, Marco Rubio, you can kind of see him sinking in the sofa there.
Yeah.
And
furrowed brow.
Yeah, and then that became just all the different memes of him dressed up as.
Yesterday, I burst out laughing because here's a meme of Marco in pink tights and giant fake boobs because Marco's just been notified he's Kristi Noem's new husband. And I couldn't help it. I laughed out loud.
What is up with that, by the way?
Oh, good Lord. So Kristi Noem, and we haven't talked about this. What do you say about this? She finds out that her husband is a cross-dressing person obsessed with obnoxiously large boobs, apparently, prosthetics, and he's in pictures wearing these things. And Kristi Noem, I think this was the right move. We want privacy right now. We don't want to talk about this. I mean, because first person that gets a shot at her is like, so, did you know about this? I mean, Kristi Noem was removed from her position as Secretary of Homeland Security. And it's no secret that she's had some sort of a relationship with Corey Lewandowski, who's been in the Trump orbit for years and years. And there was some speculation that maybe that had to do with her being asked to move on. Not really sure about that.
Mm-hmm.
But here it is, and then this comes out.
Right.
I mean, what do you... So the other part of this that's not funny, the other part of this that is not funny, what is wrong with people?
Right.
Seriously, what is wrong with people?
You know, I just don't understand. First of all, I guess if he was putting this stuff out there for the world to see, why is it just now coming to our attention? One, it just seems like very odd timing. Two, what on earth would compel you to do such a thing?
Well,
especially just doing the act of doing it.
It's weird.
That just seems to me to be a bit demented. And then also, you know that your wife is in the public spotlight, and this is, your wife has been in the public spotlight for many, many years, a governor and in the cabinet for the current president. But, what compels you to, one, want to do that, and two, put yourself out there knowing...
Well, here's the thing that comes to mind for me.
You know that this will destroy your wife's credibility and your wife...
Destroys it.
Right.
But here's what comes to mind for me. The United States Congress has a fund with millions of dollars so that when members of Congress are accused of sexual impropriety or harassing the interns or whatever it may be, right?
There's a fund.
It all gets buried. The people get paid off. They sign non-disclosure agreements. Look, if there are people in Congress conducting themselves this way, put it out there. Mm-hmm. I don't care if the Republicans or Democrat, doesn't matter.
Right. I played a bite a few weeks ago with Representative Paulina Luna, and she was saying this. She's like, all of you who voted against this are essentially disgust me. Because this is why people hate Congress.
Exactly.
Because you have different rules that apply to you than the rest of the world. And by voting for this to keep this in place, it
keep
shows
it secret.
That exact
Totally
sentiment.
agree. Yeah. Two things. If the government shut down at all, no pay for Congress. Not the senators, not the House, period. That should happen. And number two, if you have been, rightfully accused of some impropriety, you don't get to hide behind millions of dollars and get it buried. Nobody else gets that privilege. Ivy, gotta run. Love you.
Love you.
There you have it. What are your thoughts? Drop it in the comments section.
At Real America's Voice, we love Pastor Jensen Franklin, a faithful servant of the Lord who brings our audience life-changing sermons every Sunday.
God is after a conversation with you.
And now, Jensen has a new book that will impact you too. What if your most effective prayers were not your longest ones? So many believers feel pressure to say more, thinking longer or more eloquent prayers will move the hand of God. But Scripture says otherwise. Throughout the Bible, brief, heartfelt prayers brought breakthrough and divine intervention.
And if I can inspire you to pray, I can inspire you to be like Jesus.
You will discover how even a simple cry, like, "Lord, save me," can open heaven's windows.
I really believe it's going to change your life.
Filled with biblical examples and practical encouragement, this book will help you pray with confidence in every circumstance.
You are missing so much more God has for your life.
Get ready to experience the miracles that come when you pray short, bold prayers filled with power. Scan the QR code now and order your copy today.
All right, so Ivy's a little concerned about this, and I don't understand why. All right, because you got to be prepared for whatever happens, right? And so I have received as a gift a flamethrower. It's like the perfect toy for a guy like me. And what could possibly go wrong? I have a gas can on my back. What could go wrong with that? It shoots a flame about 25 feet. It is remarkable. And we're going to have some fun with it. We'll make videos, or we'll share as soon as it just arrived. I have to put it together. There's a special fuel mix for it. Anthony's all for it, by the way. Aren't you?
I vote we should have people in the comments vote on what we should.
What are we going to torch?
Yeah. My vote, honestly, is the a $500 beater car.
All right, so burn up a car. I saw people using this flamethrower during winter. Clearing their driveway of snow. I'm thinking, well, that's a lot better than shoveling. Now, isn't it? It's a big boy toy. Like I say, be surprised. Everyone's focused on how the conflict in the Middle East is raising oil prices, but there's another grim reality to this contention. Oil is isn't the only resource being constrained. About 1/3 of global fertilizer is also being impacted. And with spring planting season upon us, American farmers, well, they're concerned, with some saying they can't afford to plant their fields. When one piece of the supply chain gets hit this hard, you know what comes next. Higher food prices, reduced availability, maybe even some panic buying like we saw during COVID. And that's why having an emergency food supply at home makes so much sense. That's where our Patriot friends at Patriot Supply come in. Right now, at preparedwithrav.com, you get a 3-month emergency food supply. They'll include a free mega protein upgrade, an incredible $200 bonus. You don't want to miss this. A simple way to protect your family from whatever comes next. Go to preparedwithrav.com. It's my Patriot Supply. They are the industry leader. Preparedwithrav.com. Get your emergency food supply today. That's preparedwithrav.com. I have my Patriot Supply food here. When we went on a camping trip with the Boy Scouts a couple of years ago, their biscuits and gravy for breakfast, absolutely the best. Absolutely the best. I'm just going to put it right out there for you. All right, I'm going to take a break and be right back. It is The Steve Gruber Show.
At Real America's Voice, we love Pastor Jensen Franklin, a faithful servant of the Lord who brings our audience life-changing sermons every Sunday.
God is after a conversation with you.
And now, Jensen has a new book that will impact you too. What if your most effective prayers were not your longest ones? So many believers feel pressure to say more, thinking longer or more eloquent prayers will move the hand of God. But Scripture says otherwise. Throughout the Bible, brief, heartfelt prayers brought breakthrough and divine intervention.
And if I can inspire you to pray, I can inspire you to be like Jesus.
You will discover how even a simple cry like, "Lord, save me," can open heaven's windows.
I really believe it's going to change your life.
Filled with biblical examples and practical encouragement, this book will help you pray with confidence in every circumstance.
You are missing so much more God has for your life.
Get ready to experience the miracles that come when you pray short, bold prayers filled with power. Scan the QR code now and order your copy today on Amazon.
God bless America, the land of the free. Say a lot of you standing with me. God bless America, the home of the brave. All of the USA. God bless America, greatest country on earth. Don't care if you say it's the word. God bless America, the truth and the lies. Born here is where I'll die. God bless America, the land of the free. Say a lot of you standing with me. God bless America, the home of the brave. All of the USA. God bless America, greatest country on earth. Don't care if you say it's the word. God bless America, the truth and the lies. Born here is where I'll die.
Rav family, Real America's Music has a new track to push to the top of the charts. God Bless America by High Res. Let's show the left we're proud to be Americans. Scan the QR code or search God Bless America on iTunes today.
America, greatest country on earth. Don't care if you say it's the word. God bless America, the truth and the lies. Born here is where I'll die.
I'm Lou, mega pilot from Rav's Gator Chat here in beautiful Trump County, Florida. The best place for real news is Real America's Voice.
I'm Terry from New Jersey, and I just want to say that I love Real America's Voice. I love you guys. Keep up the good work.
Hi, I'm Bridgie, and why do I love Rav? Well, even out here in the cornfields of Iowa, I still need news I can depend on. That is Real America's Voice.
All right, so we started the program with birthright citizenship, and I want to get back into that now. Look, the war in Iran is a temporary situation, but the problem with birthright citizenship, and with 500 companies in China alone running companies to bring Chinese women to American territory, the Northern Marianas Islands being the most notable, and having children that are then American citizens, taking them home as babies, raising them under the auspices of the Chinese Communist Party. Then they can return here when they're 18 as voters, as military eligible, because they're American citizens. Now, that to me is frightening. Joining me now is Mehek Cook to discuss it in more detail. Mehek, good morning.
Good morning. It's great to be with you.
Birthright citizenship. To me, this is so clear. It's silly, but I listened to the arguments yesterday, and I'm like, John Roberts, Amy Coney Barrett, I cannot count on them in this discussion. I can't. The left always sticks together on important topics. The right often splinters, and we end up with a bad decision. Your thoughts?
You're right, and I'm very confused by the Supreme Court today because when you look at birthright citizenship, I understand it's 125 years of this country getting it wrong, but this isn't what the framers intended. The entire reason that we even have an amendment, a ratification to the 14th Amendment was for freed slaves. That was the intent because the individuals that were presiding here and domiciled here deserved citizenship. And then we had to make continued exceptions for this. But to think that illegal aliens can come here, as you said, have anchor babies and birth tourism, and then immediately get citizenship is so backwards. It's lunacy. And this isn't theoretical, Steve. We're seeing it. We have over 500 Chinese companies that are actually working to ensure that individuals can come here, birth a child, and leave. We're looking at 1 million to 1.5 million Chinese nationals that are going to receive now citizenship because they were born here, many of them are going back to China. These aren't fake statistics. The Government of Accountability Institute President Peter Schweitzer has actually shared this. So think about that. We're going to be overrun by countries like China to others, and we're not even thinking about the real world implications, let alone the rule of law.
Isn't it interesting that those Reconstruction Amendments, the 13th, 14th, and 15th, the 13th which freed the slaves, the 14th which gave them citizenship and their children, as you point out, because we had to battle Democrats even after the war, that we're going to continue to treat black Americans as something else, as a second-class citizen. And here we are, 150 years later, whatever it's been, fighting the Democrats who want to twist the language of those very amendments to do something stupid again. I mean, it never ends.
It doesn't. And think about what the intent for Democrats is today. Their holy grail is to have another base of voters. That's what it all comes down to suck the life out of the American system so that legal immigrants and Americans born here no longer are looking at the America we thought we were living in. We're actually handing benefits to illegals and their children. That was never the intent of the framers. You even look at what the founders said. The founders specifically talked about making sure that individuals actually lived here and had an allegiance to the United States. What type of allegiance do you have when you cross the border illegally and then you have a child here? There's no allegiance there. There's no assimilation there, and that wasn't the intent. But we're going to see a massive repercussion that is following this, Steve. What happens is a drainage of our benefit system. We're already seeing it with the illegal immigrant crisis, but it's going to continue. So what I think is even if we lose this case, President Trump actually showcased to Americans what it means to be American, what it means to have birth here and naturalization here, and what legal immigrants like my family are fighting for. We want justice, we want equality, and the only way to do that is to follow the rule of law. We have to make sure that Congress passes a law if we lose, because otherwise we could lose this great country and we could be overrun by illegals that are going to take over our immigration system and our electoral map.
And you make a great point, Mehek, and it brings me back to the same thing. John Thune, you need a spine. Do they not have those available in South Dakota? Because if they don't, you should get one surgically implanted. And what I mean by that is this. Whether it is this, because I believe the court's going to go the wrong way on this. And it's dangerous to predict what the Supreme Court's going to do, but I think in this case it seems pretty straightforward that John Roberts and Amy Coney Barrett are going to join the minority of the three liberal justices and keep birthright citizenship in place, even though it's completely wrong. Same thing for the SAVE Act. If you can't get this done, you need to get rid of the filibuster. That's the point I'm getting to here. The filibuster has to go. I don't care what John Thune's excuse is or what his problem is. Donald Trump should call a special session of Congress, yank them home from Easter vacation. They take more vacation than anybody in the country. They're not representing me while they're sitting at home, and the SAVE Act hasn't been passed, and birthright citizenship has not been deep sixed as it should be. Time for the filibuster to go, in my estimation. Your thoughts?
You're 100% right. And this is what I've been told by some senators in D.C. They want this bipartisanship so that they can work with the other side. It's historical, these backroom deals. That's not what we're living with today. Our reality is it changed for me after Charlie Kirk's assassination, Steve. I watched the left. I watched their divisive language. I watched the rhetoric. I watched the hate. And I watched leadership in Washington turn their back on the American people. So we're not living in the last 20 years. It's a new day and a new age for radical lunatic Democrats that are trying to take over our country. And if John Thune will not work to end the filibuster, then everything President Trump has worked for through executive order is completely deleted, because we'll have another president, whether it's the next cycle or future cycles, that will undo all the great work that 77 million Americans voted for. And the fact that you have the majority of the country pleading Congress for some common sense, and we can't find it, that's a leadership problem. I'm tired of these traditional bureaucrats that go in, collect paychecks, and don't work hard for me. I'm a business owner. If I had somebody taking Easter break off and not delivering for my customers, guess what? They would be fired. And that's what we need to start doing at the polls.
Gone. The country's being held hostage by the radical left. So the minority of the minority party is holding the country hostage, whether it's men and women's sports, open borders, you name the problem. These are all 80-20 issues, and we're being held hostage to this because John Thune and the Republicans cannot get their act together. They're being feckless, spineless weasels, and they need to get with it. For the 77 million Americans that voted for this administration, last word to you.
You're 100% right, and this is why elections matter so much. I think every Republican needs to start voting in primaries. I think we have to think outside the box. I'm tired of failed promises. I want leaders that actually deliver and aren't traditional politicians. And if John Thune and our Senate Republicans can't deliver, we really need to rethink who we want to elect in these offices, Steve, because it matters today. And I'm tired of these failed promises. I think President Trump is the first president in my lifetime that actually has accountability for the Republican Party, and they're failing to deliver. Many of them are.
Yeah, it's time to get it done. Mehek Cook, always appreciate you being here. Attorney, Republican strategist, and just somebody who knows what she's talking about. Mehek, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Greatly appreciated. John Thune, he's the problem today, in my estimation. He is the biggest problem today. Not the Supreme Court, not the House, John Thune. I'll take a break and be right back.
At Real America's Voice, we love Pastor Jensen Franklin, a faithful servant of the Lord who brings our audience life-changing sermons every Sunday.
God is after a conversation with you.
And now, Jensen has a new book that will impact you too. What if your most effective prayers were not your longest ones? So many believers feel pressure to say more, thinking longer or more eloquent prayers will move the hand of God. But Scripture says otherwise. Throughout the Bible, brief, heartfelt prayers brought breakthrough and divine intervention.
And if I can inspire you to pray, I can inspire you to be like Jesus.
You will discover how even a simple cry like, "Lord, save me," can open heaven's windows.
I really believe it's going to change your life.
Filled with biblical examples and practical encouragement, this book will help you pray with confidence in every circumstance.
You are missing so much more God has for your life.
Get ready to experience the miracles that come when you pray short, bold prayers filled with power. Scan the QR code now and order your copy today on Amazon.
God bless America, the land of the free. Say a lot of you standing with me. God bless America, the home of the brave. All of the USA. God bless America, greatest country on earth. Don't care if you say it's the word. God bless America, the truth and the lies. Born here is where I'll die. God bless America, the land of the free. Say a lot of you standing with me. Follow the USA. God bless America, greatest country on earth. Don't care if you say it's the word. God bless America, the truth and the lies. Born here is where I'll die.
Rav family, Real America's Music has a new track to push to the top of the charts. God Bless America by High Res. Let's show the left we're proud to be Americans. Scan the QR code or search God Bless America on iTunes today.
America, greatest country on earth. Don't care if you say it's the word. God bless America, the truth and the lies. Born here is where I'll die.
I'm Lou, Mega Pilot from Rav's Getter Chat here in beautiful Trump County, Florida. The best place for real news is Real America's Voice.
I'm Terry from New Jersey, and I just want to say that I love Real America's Voice. I love you guys. Keep up the good work.
Hi, I'm Bridgie. And why do I love Rav? Well, even out here in the cornfields of Iowa, I still need news I can depend on. That is Real America's Voice.
Calling her now.
All right, jumping back into it now. I want to continue the conversation with the SAVE Act. Because there's a movement afoot now to go beyond the SAVE Act. And maybe this is the way to get it done, because obviously John Thune and the Republicans are helpless in moving it forward. It can be done by reconciliation, at least part of it. They won't consider that. It can be done by eliminating the filibuster. Apparently they won't consider that, even though Democrats will make that their first point of order whenever they get control of the United States Senate again, which will happen at some point, I would guess. And so it leaves you and I adrift out here, even though these are 80-20 issues. Having voter ID is an 80% support issue, higher in some places, 85%. And yet you can't get these people to move. So a newly introduced constitutional amendment effort backed by Americans for Citizen Voting aims to go further than the SAVE Act by permanently enshrining in the Constitution that only U.S. citizens can vote in federal elections, while the SAVE Act focuses on requiring proof of citizenship at the registration level. This amendment seeks to eliminate any legal ambiguity by making citizenship a constitutional requirement. Can you imagine going back to the Founding Fathers and realizing they could have done this, but they didn't ever foresee a situation where anyone but a citizen would vote? I mean, you've got cities like New York that allow non-citizens, illegal aliens, to vote in municipal elections. There's like 800,000 non-citizen voters in the state of New York. It is absolutely a reprehensible situation. It is a situation that, you know, I wouldn't accept quietly. Neither should America. And Democrats will sit there, you're going to disenfranchise people of color.
She's on hold.
Women that get married can't vote. Well, come on. That's just ridiculous. Joining me is Avi Fortenberry to talk more about this, Americans for Citizen Voting. Avi, welcome to the program.
Hey, how are you?
I am well. So the SAVE Act, you say, is a nice step, but you want to take this. Say that again?
We lost our guest. She just dropped.
All right, well. We'll see if she hooks right back up. Avi Fortenberry is the president of Americans Citizen Voting, because they want to enact this into a constitutional amendment, which, look, I think that's a pretty good idea. And I've always been somebody who's been leery of a constitutional convention, but if we can get some of these things done that way, an Article 5 convention of states, I'm all in now. Because you see, these problems can't be fixed by John Thune or Mitch McConnell, or anybody else, apparently. So it's up to us, the people, before it's too late to fix the problem.
She's back, Steve.
Avi, welcome back to the program. So you want to enshrine this, American citizens only voting in elections. Tell me how it would work.
Well, many Americans are actually operating under the false assumption that only U.S. citizens are allowed to vote, but this isn't true. So the reality is the Constitution doesn't independently define who can vote in federal elections. It actually defers to the states. And you can check this out yourself in Article 1, Section 2, and in the 17th Amendment. So what we're trying to do is create a hard national rule that states that only citizens can vote federally.
Yeah, the 17th Amendment, the worst of all amendments, because it took away the state's ability to choose its own senators and put it up to a popular vote. You know, if the 17th Amendment were in place right now, you'd have something like 56 or 58 Republicans in the Senate, and you'd have some real power, some ability to get some things done, but we're not there, and we can't revisit that. So what's the process to get an amendment into the Constitution, the path you're following?
The process right now is that we have a bill called House Joint Resolution 152, and it's going to go to Congress. So we're going to need 2/3 majority vote in the House and 2/3 majority vote in the Senate, and then it would move to a popular vote. But what's really great about this, Steve, is the fact that we have 90-10 support, and I'm talking across political parties. So this is a bipartisan issue, and in fact, a lot of naturalized citizens, myself being one of them, are in major favor of this as well. So it's unanimous support across the board, and I can absolutely see this as being something that will unite both parties.
Now that shocks me. I'm not going to kid you. We can't get 2/3 of a vote of support for lunch in the United States Congress right now, but you think you can get the votes, because my guess is Democrats would say yeah until it was time to vote, and then they would vote it down. But maybe I'm a pessimist. You tell me.
Well, I think it really comes down to what the people want. And so, again, the American people are operating under this false assumption. So as we have been informing people and letting them know that, hey, this not only can happen, but it is happening. In fact, Washington, D.C. is one of the cities that has allowed non-citizens to vote. That is a huge problem. And I feel like the American people have recognized and realized that this is an issue, and they're willing and wanting to step up and make a change.
And you think their Democrat members of Congress would actually listen to what they say? Because, look, Americans want the border closed. Democrats oppose that. Americans want only men competing in women's sports. Americans and Democrats oppose that. 85% want voter ID and only citizens voting, and yet Democrats on Capitol Hill, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries, and all the rest oppose this. Last word to you.
Last word is that, again, this is a nonpartisan issue. We have had support from both Democrats and Republicans on this, because all it's attempting to do is to protect our country. It has nothing to do with voter ID. It has nothing to do with red tape. All it has to do with is ensuring that the Constitution reads as the American people have already assumed it does.
Yeah, which it should. But they couldn't foresee a political party cheating and manipulating the way we see the modern left playing games every single day. Avi, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Steve. I appreciate it.
Greatly appreciate you. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to check in on Brock. He's got an update on sports like he does every day right here on The Steve Gruber Show.
At Real America's Voice, we love Pastor Jensen Franklin, a faithful servant of the Lord who brings our audience life-changing sermons every Sunday.
God is after a conversation with you.
And now, Jensen has a new book that will impact you too. What if your most effective prayers were not your longest ones? So many believers feel pressure to say more, thinking longer or more eloquent prayers will move the hand of God. But Scripture says otherwise. Throughout the Bible, brief, heartfelt prayers brought breakthrough and divine intervention.
And if I can inspire you to pray, I can inspire you to be like Jesus.
You will discover how even a simple cry like, "Lord, save me," can open heaven's windows.
I really believe it's going to change your life.
Filled with biblical examples and practical encouragement, this book will help you pray with confidence in every circumstance.
You are missing so much more God has for your life.
Get ready to experience the miracles that come when you pray short, bold prayers filled with power. Scan the QR code now and order your copy today on Amazon.
God bless America, the land of the free. Say a lot of you standing with me. God bless America, the home of the brave. All of the USA. God bless America, greatest country on earth. Don't care if you say it's the word. God bless America, the truth and the lies. Born here is where I'll die. God bless America, the land of the free. Say a lot of you standing with me. God bless America, the home of the brave. All of the USA. God bless America, greatest country on earth. Don't care if you say it's the word. God bless America, the truth and the lies. Born here is where I'll die.
Rav family, Real America's Music has a new track to push to the top of the charts. God Bless America by High Res. Let's show the left we're proud to be Americans. Scan the QR code or search God Bless America on iTunes today.
America, greatest country on earth. Don't care if you say it's the word. God bless America, the truth and the lies. Born here is where I'll die.
I'm Lou, Mega Pilot from Rav's Getter Chat here in beautiful Trump County, Florida. The best place for real news is Real America's Voice.
I'm Terry from New Jersey, and I just want to say that I love Real America's Voice. I love you guys. Keep up the good work.
All right, quick detour as we check in on sports with Brock Palmbush.
With a look at sports, I'm Brock Palmbush. There was a full schedule of games in Major League Baseball yesterday, most of them afternoon games. American League winners included Baltimore, Cleveland, and Houston. National League winners included Atlanta, the Chicago Cubs, and Arizona. There were 9 games in the NBA last night. Winners included Boston, Atlanta, Denver, and San Antonio. In the NHL, there are only 3 games played. It was LA over St. Louis in overtime 4-3. San Jose squeaked by Anaheim 4-3, and Vancouver won at Colorado in an offensive onslaught 8-6. In men's college basketball, Kansas head coach Bill Self announced yesterday that he will return to the Jayhawks next season. Self has had health issues in recent years and said after Kansas lost to St. John's in the second round of the NCAA tournament a couple of weeks ago that he would discuss his future with his family. That's a look at sports. Back to you, Steve.
I guess his future is on the hardwood. Brock, I guess he'll stick around. Pretty good coach.
Yeah, he's had health issues, but he's in the Hall of Fame. He's got a couple of national championships, and there was a lot of thought that he might hang it up, but he's coming back next year. I guess the money's just too great.
Look, he lost to a legendary coach in the second round. You know, it's not like he lost to nobody, right?
Rick Pitino, yeah. St. John's was no joke this year.
Yeah, the Johnnies, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the Red Storm, yeah.
All right, so we're getting down to it. It's almost time for the last 2 finals games, and then, of course, the championship for the NCAA men's basketball tournament, which I don't know how it's going to go. I'd like to see the home team win. That'd be Michigan, of course. We'll see what happens, right?
Exactly. Well, it'd be nice to see a Big Ten team win. We got 2 of them in there, Michigan and Illinois, so we'll see. But my pick's it. Not changing my pick. I picked Arizona in January, and I'm not changing now.
Yeah, why would you?
I hope I'm wrong, but
we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. All right. Go to YouTube today. Become a subscriber for free. Susan Kokinda, the Forgotten America podcast, doing great. 25,000 people have watched it already since it went live on Monday. You should watch it as well. You want to see how the world works, how globalists are manipulating things, and how those big British banks that Donald Trump is doing some damage to right now are in a panic? Check out Susan Kokinda. Again, it's free on YouTube to become a subscriber. And I think you're going to like what you find there. All right. National distribution coming up for the podcast as well. We'll take a break and be back. It is The Steve Gruber Show.
At Real America's Voice, we love Pastor Jensen Franklin, a faithful servant of the Lord who brings our audience life-changing sermons every Sunday.
God is after a conversation with you.
And now, Jensen has a new book that will impact you too. What if your most effective prayers were not your longest ones? So many believers feel pressure to say more, thinking longer or more eloquent prayers will move the hand of God. But Scripture says otherwise. Throughout the Bible, brief, heartfelt prayers brought breakthrough and divine intervention.
And if I can inspire you to pray, I can inspire you to be like Jesus.
You will discover how even a simple cry, like, "Lord, save me," can open heaven's windows.
I really believe it's going to change your life.
Filled with biblical examples and practical encouragement, this book will help you pray with confidence in every circumstance.
You are missing so much more God has for your life.
Get ready to experience the miracles that come when you pray short, bold prayers filled with power. Scan the QR code now and order your copy today on Amazon.
God bless America, the land of the free. Say a lot if you standing with me. God bless America.